everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and I cover oily skin, hooded eyes, and beauty. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cover your large pores with makeup. If you're anything like me, you have oily skin, and unfortunately, large pores come with oily skin. So this technique that I'm going to be showing you today comes from years of experience and just trying new products. I didn't always have large pores, but as I got older, I noticed that they just started getting larger and larger, so I definitely had to learn how to deal with them. So if you want to learn how to do that, then keep watching. Alright, so I brought you guys in super close because I really want you to see everything and how effective this process is. So the first step for this is going to be a pore filling primer. And if you know me, you know my very favorite is going to be the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This stuff truly works. So I'm just going to put the primer on this side of my face and nothing on this side, so that way you can truly see the transformation. Alright, I'm just going to use the monitor as a mirror. So what I do is I just grab some on my finger, and I'm not going to like put it on like a lotion and I'm just going to be going in circular motions. I'm actually going to be pressing it into my skin, and the problem areas that I have for my pores, it's going to be all right here and then also this area. So that is what I really want to focus on, just really pressing it in. Also, you want to get that nose area, because also there are some pretty big pores on my nose. So just really get it in there and ignore the dry spots on my nose. I exfoliated a little too much yesterday, so I have some dryness going on, and my allergies are crazy, so my skin is just going through a lot right now. I'm going to turn down the light just a little bit so that way you guys can really see the difference with this pore filling primer. You can see pretty heavy on the pores. Ooh. And I've got some flaking mascara. You can see on my nose as well. But then when you look on this side, of course you are still going to be seeing them, but they are filled in just a little bit more. So this next step is not only for large pores, but it's really for oily skin people. Now I found that if you put on your translucent powder underneath your foundation, it kind of just smooths out your pores, and not only that, it absorbs all of those oils and keeps your foundation staying on longer. So I'm going to do that right now, and still it is for large pores because you are layering and it's just kind of filling up that area where you're having your problem areas for your pores. So for this step, I'm not going to be pressing the powder into my pores. Really what I want to do here is just kind of place it right on top with a brush, so that way I can just kind of maneuver it all around for the foundation to hold on to. So just gonna get a powder brush and just kind of spread it all around. The next step, you don't really have to go out of your way to get this, but I do highly recommend it when it comes to a foundation. You are gonna wanna find a poreless foundation, so something that is going to really work on blurring out those pores. And the one that I have found that really works is going to be from the drugstore. It is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This foundation blurs out everything. It is amazing. So I'm just going to get my trusty sponge and place that on top of my pores. So I do press it in with a sponge. You can also do this with your foundation brush, but I find a sponge is, you know, a really good way to initially get everything kind of pressed in there. But that's just my preference. If you guys like to use a foundation brush, no worries. So the next thing that I have definitely invested in is a blending brush. Now this is for your eyeshadow, but I go ahead and use this for my large pores. So before everything dries, I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to really get into my pores. So go into the areas where my pores are largest, like my nose, right here in this area, and then I have large pores down here. So this just really gets into the pores a little bit better than your normal foundation brush, your normal foundation sponge, and just really make sure that you're working it in. I know that these steps seem excessive, but I mean, if you're really having trouble with your pores and you really want to blur them out, these are going to be the steps to do so. Okay, so here is what it looks like with the foundation, and here is what it looks like without. I'm going to turn down the light just a bit so that way you guys can really see it. Okay, so you can already see a difference. You can definitely see these large pores. You can see the large pores on my nose, And then on this side here, it is definitely blurred. You can see that. And then if you look over here, where'd they go? Okay, let me go to the last step now. So the very last step is going to be translucent powder. We definitely want to make sure with this step we are pressing the powder into your pores. Not only are we trying to soak up as much oil as possible and try to get your foundation to stay on as long as possible, but this also helps filling in those pores. And this time I'm actually going to be using a sponge just because it is a little bit more dense and it can really get in those pores. So no, I do not bake where I have my large pores. The only places I bake is where I crease, where I get the most oily. This is just really going to add on to blurring those pores and also of course doing what normal translucent powder does, keeping the foundation on and oil free. So I'm just going to grab some of that translucent powder and I'm going to really just work it into my face. Everywhere where I have my large pores, just really press it in there. If you have a powder puff, you can definitely do it with that as well. That or a sponge, it really doesn't matter. I wouldn't do it with a brush though, just because it's not going to get into your pores like you really need to. All right, so now that that's all done, I'm going to just brush off the powder that I put on. Here is the finished product. Just as a reminder, this is where I put on all of the products to cover and blur those huge pores. And then on this side is where I left it blank, so that way you guys can really see the transition. Let me turn down the light. Okay, you can definitely see these huge pores. And then you can see the huge pores on my nose and in that area. And then if you look over here on this side, it looks 10 times better. Everything is filled in and it is blurred out. Okay, so hopefully turning down the lights helped you really see the transition. I know that using studio lights can really kind of wash everything out, but I wanted you to see this the best way possible. Alright guys, so those are my tips for you for covering your large pores with makeup. I'm really hoping that this helped you guys out, and if it did, please let me know in the comments below. And if I didn't mention something that helps you guys cover your large pores, please let us know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thank you guys so much for everything. Bye.